Should I use Evernote or orgmode for taking notes? I am looking for an app that will help me manage my notes, and after coming across orgmode, I was wondering whether orgmode's functionality is strong enough that it can remove the need for me to use another note-taking app, because org is more of a task management app, such as Evernote. My wishes for a note-taking app are: can be accessed offline in some form, e.g. through an iPhone app or desktop client. Orgmode and Evernote can both do this, however it seems like MobileOrg is more aimed at tasks, rather than notes. If this is the case, I probably would use Evernote in addition to MobileOrg. I can clip web content into easily for research. Evernote has the browser extension. How is it with orgmode? I know I can use CCCL, but how suited is it really for taking notes on stuff I am browsing in Chrome/Firefox? Has voice notes on the iPhone and computer too, if possible. Orgmode cannot do this on the iPhone. On the computer, could I record audio externally and then link the files in? I can add notes too on my iPhone and computer while not connected to the internet. Both can do this. The types of notes I am likely to have include how-to/things I have learned, documentation on my setup/stuff, research on things I may do in the future, ideas, and task-specific notes. I have thought about where I would want to access each of these notes and will post it here if you think it would help. So, is orgmode strong enough in note-taking and the requirements I listed that I can avoid the need to use a separate tool for taking notes?
Based on the specific features you asked for, I would guess that orgmode would not be ideal. In particular, its features for integration with browsing are rather limited. Personally, I use it in combination with Delicious. When I am taking notes on a topic, I include a line in my orgmode file which causes it to include the appropriately tagged links from my Delicious account directly in the notes. For at least some of your stated uses, though, orgmode may be a very strong candidate. In particular, the way tasks and note-taking are integrated can be very nice. For taking notes on code and configuration, orgmode has some very nice, unusual features. See the orgbabel intro to get an idea of what is possible.
You can do both. I use Evernote for photos, reference, code snippets, recipes, receipts, bill scans and more. I use orgmode for to-do lists, and can edit photos stored in Evernote using Emacs Evernote mode via the following in my Emacs.
You can clip links to orgmode, and there are also good instructions on how to do it. This URL. Just make sure you use a recent version of orgmode. I have only tested this in Linux, but it was quite easy to set up. Orgmode lets you clip selection or links, and you can also specify capture templates. One thing that I like is that I get all the clips in the same file and it is easy to refile the notes in Emacs. As for mobile use, I think MobileOrg is nicer app than the Evernote one, and it is perfectly suitable for note-taking. The only thing I miss is the ability to email notes to orgmode, but it's not too difficult to implement. So I recommend you go with orgmode, especially if you're an Emacs user. You can always put your audio files to Dropbox and use them with iPhone. There is also Evernote mode for Emacs, this URL, so it is possible to combine the two if you know a list.
I've thought about this question myself. I think that if web clipping is a priority for you, then you're better off with Evernote or OneNote. Org mode will not do you much good in the way of rich content. However, my priorities are different. I want my files to be in plain text so I am not tied to the Evernote app, and I don't use too much in the way of rich content in my notes. My current setup is org mode synced with SimpleNote. I would use Dropbox if my work allowed it, but it does not. SimpleNote is a nice lightweight application that might work for you if you didn't need pictures. Org mode does permit fairly easy file linkage if you need to link to external media. If you created a hierarchy inside a Dropbox folder along with your org files, you could quickly create the links. I think the creator of org presented a central use case as a note-taking app that allowed filtering for task items. For example, if you are at a meeting and you take a bunch of notes but also jot down a bunch of action items, you can go back and filter out all of the action items into a single list. You can also set it up so that the action items are tagged. Org also will allow you to export to LaTeX or HTML for publishing. I don't know if referenced files show up in the published document. One feature that Evernote wins on, and what keeps me coming back, is its nice search function. I'm still a newbie on Emacs, so I'm sure there's a way for me to search my notes, but Evernote's search function is very easy to use.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.